No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way.
He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a
Keep
legend.
talking on it though, then
He
you
a
can't look it
legend.
up later.
Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items.
What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and we've hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much to everybody who helped me reach that milestone. Everybody in Patreon, everybody that's like shared videos for me before, all the guests that have come onto the channel in the past, and Nick, aka Betting the Pitch, for convincing me to do the Prizepicks thing to get me over the bump. So that means we are going to start doing our giveaways, and I thought about different ways to do this, but I think the best way to do it, for it to be fair to the people who have been supporting me for the past couple of years through Patreon, is to force everybody to be in Patreon. However, I've created a new tier in Patreon that is just for the giveaway. So if you only want to be involved in the giveaway, you can donate $1 this month, and then you can cancel it for the rest of all time, get as much content as you want on YouTube and everything. But for people who actually want to support me, continue to support me, and incentivize me to keep pumping out my content, there will still be the $10 tier. So the $10 tier, you'll get access to Discord and everything. The $1 tier is just for the giveaway. But it's not just that. So I'll just read the rest of what's going on. So in order to qualify for the giveaway, you need to be a Patreon member, which I just went through. But then you also need to comment on YouTube on one of my videos that I'll be releasing over the next week. You need to submit 3 things. 1, a content idea you want to see on my channel. 2, your favorite underdog playing on the slate that video is about. And then 3rd, you need to let me know what teams you think are going to win the summer split in a league, or you can pick for the world championship. I'm just curious to see what people think. What I'm going to do is pick 10 people per week. So next Friday is going to be the first day that I pick winners. So 10 people per week. People who are in the giveaway tier will win $10. People who are in the $10 tier will win $20. And I will continue doing the giveaways until the $500 is gone. And depending on how much support I get in the $1 tier, I might just add that $1 tier money back into the prize pool, because obviously $1 is not really something I'm too worried about. So I can just try to keep fueling that. And maybe that's something I can keep doing on the channel long term. So that's the giveaway stuff. The problem is that Prizepicks has not posted anything for League of Legends yet tonight, and I need to get this video up. I didn't do a video yesterday because I was at a charity event all day. So we're just going to be talking about the matches for tomorrow and just, kind of discussing them. So first up, we have OMG against LNG in the LPL. LNG is a minus 450 favorite. OMG is plus 300. OMG is a team that I like a decent amount. I think their roster has some upside, but they are not as good as LNG. The only thing that I would consider doing on Prizepicks is playing some players from OMG and for them to get one win. And in that one win, I think it would be pretty bloody. Even in a loss, I think it would be pretty bloody. So I'd be looking for overs on OMG players. If you really like the LNG players, I could see going for that as well. I think this might just be a very bloody matchup. But you have to favor the LNG side here. Let me get the next match. So the next match, we have JDG and Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime is another team that I like a decent amount. I want to be on them when they are underdogs and are theoretically given no chance by most people. So JDG is minus 334. Ultra Prime is plus 240. 369, Kanavi, Yagao, Hope, and Missing. It's a really strong roster. You're not going to see a lot of holes in their early game. Kanavi is one of the best junglers in the world. And even though I do want access to ultra prime players, I'm a little concerned with Elk and Xiaoxi. Like, if they gave me an Elk prop, I'm basically thinking to myself, like, yes, I think Ultra Prime can win a game. The problem is that in their losses, I don't think that Elk is going to get there a lot of the time, because they'll most likely think to themselves, go even in the early game, try to scale, and eventually we can win a team fight around Elk. So that does concern me a little bit. Let's keep going. So those are the two games for China. Not super exciting, and I don't know what the prop lines would be, so that's unfortunate. Next game, we have DRX against Hanwha Life. DRX is a minus 700 favorite. DRX is probably the third or fourth best team in Korea. Most people probably say fourth. I like them a lot. I think that Pyosik is a very, very good jungler, pretty underrated overall. This should be a very good meta for Deft and Beryl. Beryl has an extremely diverse champion pool, and if they decide to go after like Senna, they don't necessarily need to play Senna Tahm Kench, which hasn't been doing so well worldwide. But you can do Senna plus almost anything else. And Beryl, I don't think that Beryl is the same caliber of player as Keria, but I know that Beryl is willing to play other things besides Tahm Kench with Senna, specifically Pantheon. We've seen that when they were on Damwon Kia. Hanwha Life is a team that I don't really give much respect to. The only reason why I'd even consider playing anybody from Hanwha Life is because DRX does have different matches where they kind of just give up a loss or lose the entire match altogether, which is concerning, but it's just the reality of the situation, and that's what separates DRX from a lot of the other top teams. I would still probably favor a DRX 2-0, and then it would come down to, do I believe in the overs for DRX for Prizepicks? And I would say that if it's under 8 kills for Pyosik or Deft, I'd probably be okay with it. For Kingen and Zika, it'd probably have to be like 4.5 or 5. If it's pretty far off of either of those numbers, then I'd have a much more definitive stance. Then the last match of the day in Korea, Genji against Fredit Brion. Again, I never understand Fredit Brion. But Dorn, Peanut, Chovy, Ruler, Lehens against Morgan, Umti, Lava, Henna, Delight. Those should be the rosters. I'm not 100% sure. Fredit Brion looks horrible in a lot of their losses. They just don't even look competitive. So I hope they lose. That's really more than anything. Once again, the problem is especially in Korea, you can have these extremely low kill score games. We've seen it a little bit in other regions, but Korea has really been the most extreme, I think, in terms of having low kill score games. So I don't really love that one either. But we're kind of stuck with the slate the way that it is. So next up, we're going to go into the LEC. So in the LEC, we have Astralis against SK Gaming. Astralis is a surprising 2-1. They beat Misfits, beat BDS, lost to G2. You can't really blame them for losing to G2. Then with SK, we had them lose to Fnatic and Mad Lions, beat Team BDS. That's a pretty tough first week for SK Gaming. I think that Astralis against Misfits was a good win for them. But I wouldn't put really any stock into the BDS match. So the question is, who is... I think I'm just going to have to go with SK Gaming. I think that, we get 1 week where Astralis played pretty well. I'm not going to change my read on their team just from that alone. So I think I just prefer SK Gaming. And like I said, they had the tougher first week. So I think I'm going to take SK Gaming in that one. And this should be a spot where SK Gaming would be hitting overs on Prizepicks. So again, once we get those numbers, I'm probably going to like the overs for SK Gaming because I think they're going to be the underdog. Next up, we have Vitality against XL. Both teams are 2-1. I prefer Vitality. I think that they're more talented long-term. Their loss against Mad Lions was really frustrating. XL lost to G2, which is understandable. But they did beat Fnatic, which was a good win, and they beat Misfits, which was a good win. I think that because this matchup is going to be so like hyped up, the over-unders on Prizepicks are probably going to be inflated. So the best thing to do in that scenario would be pick players from the team that you think will lose and go under. But again, that comes down to like, how inflated are those numbers because it's a hyped up matchup and it attracts people to it. So I would assume Patrick is going to be like, 3 or 4. And if I think that Vitality is going to win, I would go under. That's just the simple way I would try to look at it, since I don't have numbers to work off of. Next up, we have Rogue against Misfits. So Misfits are 0-3. They're probably going to be 0-4 after their match with Rogue. Rogue lost to Fnatic and G2, which they're 2 tough matches. Obviously, I think they're better than G2 long term, but in that first match they lost, so you can't really take too much away from G2. Ultimately, I think with Rogue against Misfits, it's not a great matchup. It's not a great matchup for Misfits because Schlatan and Malrong play somewhat similar styles. Schlatan, he was actually getting target banned again with the whole Lee Sin situation. I think Odoamne is better than Irrelevant. I think Malrong's better than Schlatan. Larson's better than Vetio, and that'll probably turn into a control mage versus control mage matchup, which is going to reduce the variance, I would think. And then Neon and Mursa against Comp and Trimby. I prefer Comp and Trimby. Obviously, Rogue didn't look great last week, but I still think they're better than Misfits. And then the following day, we'll probably be able to play Misfits against SK Gaming. So, let them get that 4th loss under their belt, and then they'll be fine. Then we have BDS against G2. That's an easy G2 spot. I think that you can definitely hit overs on that as well. I would expect the over-under for kill totals to be like 17 or 18 for G2 going into that, and I would probably prefer the over. And then the last game of the day is Mad against Fnatic. That should be a really good matchup. Mad is 2-1. Fnatic is 2-1. I think that it's funny because people who like Humanoid and like Niski will point at this match in the future and say, oh, look at how close these two teams were. Look at how good Niski was against Humanoid. When in reality, they play similar styles, and I think that the pick ban phase will do a lot to determine this matchup. I prefer the Fnatic side. I think Humanoid is the better version of Niski, and vice versa. Like, Niski's the worst version of Humanoid. So Wonder against Armut, probably a push. I prefer Wonder long term. Like, historically, I think he's been better than Armut. But Armut has done well against the other top laners in the region, like holding his own. Then we have Razork against Elyoya. I do think that I like Elyoya a little bit more. I know that I've been very critical of him and saying he's overrated. I do think he's overrated, but at this point, on a team that struggled last split, I think we'll be, we're probably a week or two away from them being overhyped again, but we're not there yet. Then we have Unforgiven and Kaiser against Upset and Hillsong. Definitely prefer the Upset and Hillsong side. I think that you can probably just play any over from Fnatic. Humanoid is the one that I would want to avoid. So if Humanoid is one of the options, I wouldn't play the over just because I think his playstyle kind of limits his kill upside a lot of the time, especially in a matchup against Mad Lions, who's blue side. I wonder if they would... looks like Mad is blue side. I wonder if they're going to leave up Twisted Fate and just see if one of them will pick Twisted Fate. But that would basically be it. So those are my initial thoughts for the games for tomorrow. And like I said, the giveaway starting, the first day will be next Friday. I'll be announcing 10 winners. And, we'll see how much money we get through next Friday. In order for me to pay out, it's probably going to have to be like PayPal or Venmo. I don't really want to get any other ones. So, hope you have PayPal or Venmo. But again, thank you so much for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm looking forward to giving back in the giveaway. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.